for this whole show because it looks like I was just added to the stream. So I'm not sure if you guys were able to hear me or not. But put a 1 in the chat. If you didn't hear me, I'm going to tell you what we're doing. We are basically going over the fact that Larry Reid and Bishop Whitehead are in court. And Bishop Whitehead, well, they're going to court. And Bishop Whitehead is claiming that Larry Reid set him up. Okay. So shout out to Miss Furlow Speaks. I did go ahead and pull up her video where she was discussing this. And I've got basically, I want you guys to hear what LAMOR Whitehead was saying about Larry Reid. So we're going to get deep into this today. But again, I hope you guys heard me from the beginning of the show. If not, I do apologize for that. But basically, we are going to get into Larry Reid today. We're going to get into LEGENA Gold, and we're going to get into, well, I've already talked about Judge Doro. So if you guys didn't hear that, I apologize. She conceded the primary, and I wanted you guys to see how her child was so upset about that. Okay, so I do apologize for the sound, but let's go ahead and continue with this. Again, I wanted you guys to hear what LAMOR Whitehead is saying about Larry Reid and in regards to this situation. All right, so let me pull it back just a little bit so you guys can hear a little bit more. Bear with me just a moment. And again, shout out to Miss Furlow Speaks. 1 moment, guys. All right, guys, let's go ahead and play this.
Some of the victims, all of the victims, all of these victims that are this guy's victims, that he stole so much money from them, they found out about me from this article. And they were upset at this article. So what they did was they emailed the New Yorker and told them, yo, this can't be true. Look at what he did to us. Look at what he did to me. And this editor, Eric, how you spell his name? Eric, Lach. He disregarded all of the emails. You want to know why? Because he didn't want to mess up his story. He didn't want to mess up his story. He put it out there on what he wanted to put out. And he put it out there. So let me say this, y'all. So
let me give you guys a little bit of background. So basically he's saying that this guy, Eric Lach, who created this story for the New Yorker, was talking about Bishop Whitehead and Mayor Eric Adams and how they are connected. He's basically saying that Eric Adams is puzzling to his friends why Eric Adams has this close relationship with this alleged fraudster Brooklyn church leader, LAMOR Whitehead. Okay. Now we all have our own, opinions about LAMOR Whitehead in regards to his behavior, in regards to his lifestyle, in regards to his past. There's a lot of stuff with LAMOR Whitehead that I even feel myself, right? But what I will say is that I also have my reservations about Larry Reid, and I have my reservations about who he's in bed with and, who he tries to connect with to get a bad light on people who are coming for him, okay, allegedly. So let's go ahead. And again, all of this is alleged. So let me go ahead and put up that banner. But yes, this is all alleged, but, and for entertainment purposes. But again, this is the morning opinion, and I am giving y'all the opinion about this. But we're going to go ahead and continue with this pastor versus pastor, because there was a lot of crap and a lot of bombs that LAMOR Whitehead dropped in here.
Now, let's fast forward. Let's get back to this. So now you guys are going to be able to see that this con man is trying to set up the bishop and the mayor of New York. Secondly, Larry Reid, he knows that the reason why he came at me is because he lied on me and because I exposed him for pedophiles. So now what's going to happen is when Larry Reid goes to trial with me on my lawsuit, Larry Reid, you played with the wrong one. You want to know why? Because the allegations that you have HIV and the allegations that you touch more boys will come out during this trial. I'm going to be asking for health records, My attorneys are going to be asking for phone records. You name all the records. You done opened up the wrong door. They're all saying that you have HIV. You claim you're not. You don't. No problem.
Now, again, these are not my statements. These are the statements of Bishop LAMOR WHITEHEAD, okay? This is what he is saying. So his statements do not necessarily reflect the opinions of Black Lounge Divine, Black Lounge Entertainment, or Miss T. Pre, okay? We are just speaking this for commentary purposes. We are playing this, and I'm going to play it a little bit more, and then I'm going to give you guys more commentary.
When we go to court, you are going to have to expose it all. And a lot of victims already called me. A lot of people are coming out, brother. And even if I just had Levantre, his mother, and some other people that's connected to him, brother, we are going all the way.
The estimated hold time is now 96 minutes.
All right, guys, hold on 1 second.
So,
all right, so basically what he was basically saying is that he is planning on taking Larry all the way to the top with this situation. No matter what goes on, no matter how this happens, he has no intentions of letting up on Larry Reid in regards to this matter, okay? And I wonder if Larry is prepared for that. I think there's a lot of things that Larry did not think through, allegedly, okay? I could be wrong. This is just the opinion of mine. I think there's a lot of things that Larry did not think through when all of this started and when all of this came out, okay? I don't think he really thought about how far people would be willing to go. And some people, when they become content creators, they kind of can't separate reality from, YouTube and from Instagram and all these other social media spaces, right? They kind of think that this is all there is and everything will just kind of stay here. Even though Larry has been known to take some people to court, particularly Daryl Moore, right? But I think all of that, again, was for show. A part of that was just to put out here and have people talking about and have this great big, situation going on where everybody is talking about this and having a conversation with each other, as opposed to real life, okay? So in real life, judges look for evidence. They look for actual facts. They look for actual information. If Larry is saying that this man is lying, that he's making all this up, that, he's lied on him, he's done this, he's done that, well, he's going to have to prove that. Okay, he's going to have to prove that. And if LAMOR WHITEHEAD and his attorneys are going to go forward and say, no, this is why we said this. We said this, this, and this for this reason. This person said this. This person said that. This is the evidence that they presented on that. Now the burden of proof would be on Larry to prove that that's false. And if he can't prove that, Larry has a problem. And that's just all I'm going to say about that. So either way, with this situation, right, with the Levantre situation that's going on with Larry, and Natasha K situation, and Larry alleging that he wants to take them to court. He's asking for $800K and all this other stuff. Yeah, he's going to have a huge problem here either way, okay? Because both sides have the money to pay their attorneys to make sure that they can go as far as they want to, okay? So what is Larry really going to do here? Maybe one day he'll just eventually say, you know what, y'all, I'm just going to come out and just tell y'all everything that happened. Allegedly. Now, I don't know, you know what I mean? But I think that would be in his best interest if this all is said to be true. Because at this point, it's going to become financially exhausting to keep fighting situations. And if those situations are fact, you can't, call defamation. You can't call all these other things because this is all actual fact, right? Allegedly, if they actually present evidence of such things. especially the things that LAMOR WHITEHEAD is talking about, particularly about this man's health. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that that is true because I don't know, right? All I can say is where there's smoke, there's fire. And if there's so many folks saying such a thing, perhaps we need to get some evidence of that on both sides, right? So if the alleged person is saying, or the alleged people are saying that this is fact, then yes, I would expect that evidence to be presented, right? So I would expect LAMOR WHITEHEAD to come with his ducks in a row. I would expect that if he's putting this type of money into this, he would have the evidence that would prove that this, that this is why he said it. Okay. And I don't know. I would assume that Larry would not want his personal health information and stuff like that out in the public, if that is fact, right? So maybe he needs to get more ahead of this and just kind of stop making this a whole YouTube show and really get serious about this if he's not already. But LAMOR WHITEHEAD seems very serious about this. He is not playing around. And again, he is not taking his foot off of Larry's back, okay? He is most definitely taking this man all the way to the extent that the law allows possible. And he ain't got no problems doing what he doing with Larry. So I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think about this situation. Like I said, I personally think that Larry needs to just go ahead and take this a little bit more serious. I don't know if he, maybe he is taking it serious, and maybe to his audience, it just seems like a whole big jokey, key. But to me, it just seems like he's not taking this as serious as maybe he should, based off of the allegations that are coming out in this stuff. Okay. Now, LAMOR WHITEHEAD, I do think, and this is my opinion, right? I do think LAMOR WHITEHEAD tends to be on the crooked side of life. I think there are some things going on with him that are questionable. But I think when it comes to this situation with Larry, I'm not questioning any of this simply because it was the alleged victims that came and spoke with LAMOR WHITEHEAD and presented him with this information. Okay. So if that is the case, then, I don't have a dog in that fight. I don't have anything to say about that. I absolutely want to respect the alleged victims. I want to respect what they are saying, and I'm going to leave that at that until otherwise, or until something else comes forward to prove otherwise, right? But yeah, this is where we're at with LAMOR WHITEHEAD. He's not playing around with Larry Reid at all, y'all. Okay. And shout out to all of y'all that are in the clouds. Make sure that y'all hit that like button and make sure that you do subscribe. Also hit the notification bell so that you always know when we are live here. And guys, we are going to take a quick break, and then we are going to get right into this LEGENA Gold and Jaguar Wright situation, because again, the family had a lot to say, and we're going to definitely talk about everything that they were talking about yesterday, because there was a lot, guys. Okay. And I just really want to be clear about what they were talking about in regards to money and what is happening with this situation, because Jaguar is most definitely not being honest in regards to this money situation. Okay. And you guys need to know about it. For those of you who don't know, make sure that you hit up Hear Her TV. Make sure that you do subscribe to her channel. She had an awesome show yesterday. And the family of LEGENA Gold came on the panel. It was the aunt, it was her sister, her blood sister from her mom, and then it was the aunt's daughter, who is also related to the entire family through blood, fathers, and all kinds of stuff going on within the DeJesus family dynamic, as well as with Dominique Franklin, okay, who is LEGENA Gold's mother, okay? So for those of you who are, let me tell you now, for those of you who are not clear about who these characters are, I would suggest that you go over to the official King Payne, also go over to Sean Davey Way. I will put a link to both of their channels in my description box, because it is very difficult to explain who these people are if you don't know, okay? But it is also, most people do know who Jaguar Wright is, and by now know who LEGENA Gold is, because she has gone viral on every platform, from TikTok, Instagram, now on YouTube, Now she's on all kinds of different other platforms. She's made it to Media Takeout, made it to what they call the Shade Room. The Neighborhood Talk has been talking about, like, everybody big has been talking about this girl. So it's hard to miss who she is. And if you don't know, just take a look out there and find out. She is a girl or a woman who is claiming to be the daughter of Aaliyah and R. Kelly. Okay. And so we're going to get right into that real quick. But let me go ahead and give you guys a quick bathroom break so that you can get ready for the rest of the show. All right, guys. So there was so many things that was touched upon yesterday. Now, one of the things that the aunt had mentioned is she mentioned how she was related to the family, which I think I went over a little bit of that dynamic. But listen, I want you guys to go over to Hear Her TV and just, listen in on how the dynamic of the family is, because there was a lot of just twists and turns to who's who. Okay. But ultimately speaking, they are all related to each other. The aunt is related by marriage. Okay. So she had children with one of the DeJesus men, who also had children with Zima. Okay. So they both share children with the same man, but he is also brothers of another man who is a father to Zima. Okay, so who is a father to Zima's kid, one of Zima's kids, okay, or two or something like that. So basically, Zima Franklin, or Zamanique Franklin, which is Legena's mother, is the baby mother of two of the DeJesus men. Okay, that is basically a long story short in a nutshell. So she has several children. She has like 7, or I forgot how many kids there is. There's a lot of kids. But she has several children by different fathers, and they are all, some of them are not only brothers and sisters, but they're also cousins. Okay, so this is what I explained last night. But the two girls that we're talking about right now is Zamanique, which is Zamanique Jr., which is the daughter of Zima and one of the DeJesus brothers. Okay, and then we're talking about Legena, which is the daughter of Zima and an African man. Okay, so she has children with this African man as well, which is the twins. And then there's another little boy named David, I believe his name is, who is younger than them. He's not little, he's 26. But either way, he's younger than the twins, and she has him too. So ultimately speaking, the three of them, those kids, all were raised together until they kind of went to foster care. At times they were separated in foster care. At times they were together. The DeJesus kids, most of them stayed within the family, but they stayed with the grandmother, okay, when Zima lost custody of all of her kids, okay? She had a drug issue at one time, and she had lost custody of all of the children, and she ended up, most of the kids ended up with the two grandmothers. So her mom and the DeJesus mother, okay? So that's where all the children ended up. And at times when Shirley lost custody of those kids, well, when she couldn't control them anymore, the state ended up with LEGENA, her twin brother, and the other son, okay? I believe his name is David, okay? Owosu. So all of that happened. There's a whole lot of trauma with that, but most of the trauma allegedly took place under the DeJesus family. And there was a lot of things that was going on there, okay, that those children experienced, but they don't wish to talk about, okay? So they're not talking about a lot of this stuff publicly, but LEGENA is kind of bringing up some things in her own life as if these things happened to her, okay? And that is not the case. So that is the basics of what we talked about yesterday. We also talked about how the aunt had and the aunt's daughter wanted to get more additional help for her, and how they started reaching out to people that were in the chat and people on the panel and different things like that, and after they got more information on how much danger LEGENA is in, they wanted to do more. Okay, so let's jump to where the sisters started speaking on some of these things in regards to her. So she said that there's definitely no, that LEGENA did not have a boyfriend. There was no boyfriend. So I remember LEGENA telling the public that there was this guy who was her boyfriend and he was trying to take her money and all this stuff. It was just stories that didn't make sense, right? But, again, she was talking about this boyfriend, and they asked about that, and she said no, there was no boyfriend that she knew about. And she was really familiar with her sister because they hung out often at some point up until around this time, up until around October, November or so is when she kind of distanced herself because she didn't understand what was going on. Well, her sister distanced herself from everybody. And she would reach out, but, she just didn't want to be reached out to. So she kind of allowed her to live her life. But she has a key to her house. She comes over there often, as LEGENA has a key to her apartment as well. And this is Zamanique that we're talking about, her sister. So basically, she said there was no boyfriend. She said that, she certainly didn't want to talk about a lot of the stuff that the family had experienced, but she could say that a lot of things that LEGENA was talking about it seemed like jumbled stories in her head that she was already aware of, that other family members may have experienced, may or may not have experienced, I'll say that. But she knows about these things, but these things didn't actually happen to her. It was other members of the family, okay? And LEGENA is just kind of jumbling all these stories together. And she made that really, really, really clear. She also said that Jag is lying on the family. All this stuff about the family, doing all these things and everything. All of this is for clicks and views. She said none of this stuff is true. And she doesn't understand why this woman would be saying all these things. Another thing that she got to was that, because I looked up the father Nan, and because the aunt said that he was on Facebook. So I looked him up just to kind of see. And when I found him, it said that this person lived in Georgia, okay? Even though the aunt was saying that she thinks he lives in Ghana or he lives back in Africa or something like that. Now, I think they said Nigeria. I think they said he's Nigerian or something. I can't quite remember, but I do believe that they said he's Nigerian. When I looked up this name on Facebook, what I found was a guy from Ghana, but he lives in Georgia. Okay. So that's what I found. Okay. Now, allegedly, LEGENA has not talked to the father in a long time, as well as the aunt hasn't either. It's been years. As a matter of fact, she said when they were kids is the last time she saw him. He left the kids a long time ago. So this whole thing about this whole fantastical story that LEGENA's been telling us about her dad, or this Nan being, she thought he was, just her caretaker and their second dad, that he was there and he was doing all this stuff for her and bringing R. Kelly in the house and all that stuff. All of these things were part of delusions, because Nan has been gone for a very long time. As a matter of fact, the DeJesuses came around, I believe they came around after the fact. So she had them. I don't remember who had who first. I do. Well, I'll say this. He's been gone for a long time. We're just going to keep it to the facts. Okay. He has been gone for a very, very long time. So that's basically what's been going on with that. Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful Bernice. So let's go ahead and continue with some of the more facts that we're talking about. But like I said, I did see that there is this guy, Nan Owosu, down in, or Tutu, Nana Tutu, that's his name. And he's down in Georgia. So some people asked about that on the live. They had asked about who lives in Snellville. And she said nobody. She said, not that I know of. The sister said that. Now that is Zima, that's Dominique. It was Dominique DeJesus that said that. So Nana Tutu would not be her father. Okay, that would be LEGENA's father. So she really wouldn't have a way of knowing where he is, right? Unless she's already keeping up with him. And so for them to ask that question and not say, does he live there? She's just like, I don't know who lives there, basically. Okay, so that doesn't necessarily, debunk the fact that Nana Tutu lives in Georgia, right? It just simply goes to show that the sister does not know much about LEGENA's father. It also goes to show that they did not grow up together at points in time, because they were asking her what school LEGENA went to, and the sister said she had no idea. She said they lived in different houses. Okay, so, and which was true. She had lived with her grandmom, and then eventually moved back with her mom, and LEGENA was still kind of bouncing around to different places. So this is what she said, and I touched base on this with schizophrenia yesterday. I touched bases on how schizophrenia develops in young women, okay? But I'm going to get into what she said about her sister. She said that she believes that she is aware of what she's doing, okay? But she also said she does believe that there are some delusions, right? Like, she doesn't know if she really does believe that Aaliyah is her mom. Like, she's not sure, just based off of her behavior. Her behavior has been so bizarre in the past few months that she really doesn't know if this is what this girl believes, but she does believe that she knows what she's doing, and I'm about to get into why. Okay. Hey, Jinx Taylor, I appreciate you being in the building. You said, hello, you are correct. He is from Ghana. You found the correct man. Okay, so I definitely found the right man. This guy is from Ghana. I'm not going to show that, because then I'd be showing y'all my Facebook page, even though me and mine's done found my shit. But anyway, maybe she'll dox him for y'all. But either way, I'm not going to show y'all my Facebook page. I don't want to do that. But I definitely found the right man. This man is from Ghana, guys. Okay, he's very tall. And she would have his features from what I saw of him. There's only one picture. Okay, so unless you become friends of his or whatever. Multiple people on that his friends list are African people as well. And I couldn't find anybody with the name Franklin or anything like that. His friends list is very open. So I couldn't find anybody with the name Franklin, DeJesus, none of that stuff. I was looking, maybe I have to dig a little bit further, but perhaps I can find some more. But right now, I do know that I have the right man. So shout out to you, Jinx Taylor. I appreciate that. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into this part of this, because like I said, the sister definitely said that she believes that Angela knows what she's doing. And the reason for that is because she said to her specifically, well, she said to the cousin, which is the aunt's daughter, specifically on a text message, that she is going to make a lot of money off of this, and that she is and that this is about money. She told her cousin that this in fact is about the money. Okay. So she let her know that. I am going to put a link again to the video in my description box, because I didn't get Hear Her TV's permission to play it. So I'm not going to do that. Okay. But I am going to go ahead and show you guys where she actually said this. Okay. And that LEGENA, in fact, is in on this alleged scam with Jaguar. She said that, hold on, let me go into, she said, yes, that LEGENA had sent text messages to her, all excited about it, and that this was most definitely about getting money. But she also pointed out at one point that she was concerned about, and I'm going to tell you guys what LEGENA said. LEGENA told the cousin recently, in the past few days, that she was very concerned about Jaguar and about Goomba and about the situation, because she said that she feels like they're taking advantage of her with her money. And she didn't know how to get out of that situation. Okay. So that was the first thing that she had said to the cousin. The cousin was trying to reach back out, trying to get more information, trying to figure out what's going on. And then LEGENA ends up like a couple days later saying, you know what? You're not my family. I don't know you. Don't hit me up anymore. Don't contact me anymore. So she definitely sent out a distress message to her cousin, letting her cousin know that, hey, she feels like these people are taking advantage of her and they are taking her money. They also made it very clear that LEGENA gets a Social Security check. That is a definite thing. That is a 100% fact. Okay. So yes, she is receiving a Social Security check. So that is something that everyone needs to know when you are sending money to this girl, because she has the ability to collect money on her own. Now, there is a question of whether or not there is a what's called a representative payee for her. I don't know if there is. A representative payee would basically be somebody who receives that Social Security check for the disabled adult on their behalf. Okay. They would have to make sure that they're using those funds to care for this person, make sure their bills are getting paid, make sure, you know, whatever the case may be, make sure that they're being used for their care, whatever the case may be. And then, you know, any other money they can certainly give to them. They can make sure that they can, you know, live their everyday life, have money for their little whatever they want to do. You know, if they want to go to the movies and do what, you know, they have money for that. This is what Social Security is meant for. And this is, you know, to keep up with their lifestyle, also to put funds away. You can put a certain amount in savings. It has to be under a certain amount, though, if you're getting a certain type of Social Security. Either way, if there is a representative payee, then that person would have control of her funds. However, some people who receive Social Security disability do not have a representative payee. They get their own money, they get their own check, they get their own whatever every single month, and they are responsible enough to take care of that money every single month. There are some that are able to do that, okay? And at some point, that may change depending on whatever is going on, right? So who knows who has control of her check? And I'm sure she would have a card, like a debit card. I'm sure she's not getting an actual paper check, right? I'm sure she's actually getting it. She has a debit card that she can take from state to state with her. And yeah, that is something that the public needs to 100% know, okay? Because again, while we're sending money to Jaguar Rights Cash App to help this girl already has help. She already has financial means to be able to assist her. not assist Jaguar, but assist herself, right? Now, like I said, the family is definitely doing more now since Hear Her TV, and that's why I give her her accolades. Shout out to her, because you know, if it wasn't for some of these content creators who are really breaking this story wide open and really having real conversation about this, I really don't think the family would have been able to get LEGENA and possibly get her the assistance that they are trying. I'm not going to speak on everything. I'm just going to say that I'm going to give a couple more parts, and then I'll just read you guys' comments, and then we'll end the show from there. But one of the things that the family had said is that they need a couple of days so that they can put some things together, because they are intending to go down there, whether they go to Texas, whether they go to Louisiana, but they are looking to go down there and to get LEGENA directly. Okay. They are looking to do some things. Again, I'm not going to give anybody any ideas. I don't want, Jag going and trying anything new and trying some different stuff. But at the end of the day, because she is really nuts. And at this point, Jaguar is bound to do anything. Okay. And that is what I don't want to happen. I don't want this to become a crazy and ugly situation, that, becomes out of control for LEGENA and out of control for her family, and even out of control for Jaguar. But Jag is out of her mind. Okay. And we got to keep that in mind. They also have firearms. The police are very aware of these firearms, and they are not happy about it. And they are on Jaguar's ass as well. Okay. Because of her condition, she is not able to hold firearms. So for her to have firearms in her possession, that is a problem. And they are having a problem with that. So that is another thing. Also, the cops said that based off of the fact that both of them, Jag and LEGENA, are showing delusions of grandeur, that could give them all the reason to commit her, because she's out here saying she's Aaliyah's mother, or Aaliyah's daughter. All the cops needed to see was that. And so they are actively looking for them. Okay. And that is some information that came out yesterday as well. And the family is now very well aware of what's going on. And they are very actively involved in trying to get LEGENA back home. So if anybody wants to donate money, you will need to donate to their family, right? You'll need to donate money to them, or donate something to the cause of getting LEGENA home. We do not want to be giving Jaguar Wright any money anymore. We want to shut down Jaguar Wright's Cash App. We do not want to be sending any more additional funding to Jaguar Wright in regards to any of this stuff. Okay. We need to make sure that if we are, donating to this, we have a wide array of people who are really looking into this. Shout out to Della Cream Della. Shout out to Hear Her TV. You guys can go over to both of these channels and check them out. Listen in on what's going on and get involved. Okay. But if you want to get involved on the right side of history with this. Make sure that you are helping out the family. They are in need of assistance with this matter. If there are some therapists, if there are some counselors out here who can get some assistance to this family, get some conversation to them in regards to how schizophrenia works, what happens with schizophrenia, so that they are educated on this and they are her first line of defense and they are aware of what to do in order to help her out of this situation safely. Okay, because that is what's important here, is getting LEGENA home safely. Okay, but sending Jaguar Wright money for this girl, this is clearly a problem. Okay, especially if Jag got her looking all crazy out here, on this blue couch, with this half a wig, looking all crazy like this. Okay, I mean, this is crazy right here that they got her looking like this. It's almost like they're just clowning her, like this is a minstrel show. Okay. And this is not okay. This is not okay at all. This girl seriously needs help. Her family is aware of her condition, and they are aware of how much she needs help. And if we are going to get in on the cause, we need to get in on the right side of this and helping her properly. All right. So guys, let me go ahead and read you guys' comments real quick. So you did say, that I had the correct man there. And hey, Mikey, I appreciate you being in the building. You said, good morning, grand rising to you. You said, I watched the live too. It was really enlightening as to the family dynamics, wasn't it? I thought that played a big role in the distance of some of them. It was very clear that there's a lot of them who do not talk, and don't know everything about each other's life. I think the kids probably know a lot more than the adults know, you know what I mean? But definitely, I think that the children, they're very private, very, very private people. I don't think they want much to be known about what has happened with them. And I think they're really, really angry at Legena. I know one of the sisters was like, F that B. Like, she didn't want nothing to do with her at all. She didn't care what was going on. And it's understandable with that kind of pain, with somebody dealing with such a disorder, and you're not really fully educated on the disorder, right? So you think that the stuff that they're saying and doing is how they really feel, you know what I mean? As opposed to this being part of their condition. And I think that's part of what this family really needs to move forward and to heal, is to be educated on the disorder of schizophrenia, which is actually more common than people know. You said, I wonder if that wasn't Jag that told the cousin she was no longer her family. Yeah, it was. I don't know, right? Because we don't know who's on these text messages talking. All we know is Legena, her cousin says she knows her, and she said she definitely knew that that was her saying, hey, I'm afraid, I'm concerned about these people taking my money, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. And then next thing you know, a couple days later, probably after Jag read her text messages, right, and went through her phone, and she probably is the one that texted her and said, you're not family to me, I don't fool with you, she was the one doing that. And then Jag kind of gave light to that on one of her videos on her Instagram. She was talking about that. She was like, yeah, I got your phone and I was texting your family. Yeah, that's what the people think. It's like she goes back and forth between reality and fiction. So she was like, yeah, that's what the people think. But really, in reality, she was using her phone and texting her family members and telling her family members, leave me alone, and all this other stuff and everything. This is really, really a dangerous and crazy situation, because if Legena does feel like she's in danger, she doesn't feel like she's able to tell anybody that. And right now, she's kind of riding the wave of meeting all these celebrities and celebrity kids and people who's been in the likes of R. Kelly and people who's been around, who's been raised by Kirk Franklin and, all these people. And then she's hearing about LL and she's being compared to LL Cool J. She's on Street Life Productions. You know what I mean? She's getting kind of the hood Hollywood treatment. You know what I mean? And she's feeling, she's feeling herself right now. But when all of this is said and done in a couple of days, where is that going to leave this girl? Right? Where is that really going to leave her? And that is the unfortunate part and sad part about this situation. Because like I said, Jag, and like the family is saying, Jag know what she's doing. You know what I'm saying? And they do think Legena knows too, because Legena's like, yeah, we're making money. We're about to make all this money, and everything. And Jaguar probably did, promise her the world, right? Promised, kind of like a Break in the Culture did with me, okay? Promised her the world out this piece, okay? And told her she gonna get this, she gonna get that. It's gonna be all these celebrities, and she's just kind of dipping and dabbing and bringing her around different people and giving her the idea that she's going to give her this great big world on, in a new place. And really, she's not really able to do anything for this girl. Okay. So, and she hasn't figured that out yet. But when she does figure it out, how is Legena going to react? That is the big question. Because clearly Legena can get violent, okay? If 8 cops got to lock her ass up when she didn't want to go to the hospital, okay? I mean, these are things that I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about how this will affect Legena And, you know, like I said, if we're going to get behind this, we need to get behind the family and supporting them and getting her home. Okay. And not Jaguar. Do not cut off Philadelphia, cut off Jaguar's Cash App. We are not sending her no more money. We're not doing anything for that woman. Okay. And you say yes. And sadly, that's not uncommon. Exactly. It really is. It's like, it's unfortunate how many people do have schizophrenia and don't speak on it, right? Or they don't even know that they have it. And you know, that is something that's more common than people think. And you know, perhaps the world needs to be educated more on this condition so that we know how to react to people. You know, when we see certain things or when people are, you know, behaving a certain way. Perhaps it is untreated mental illness of such. And you said, but one thing nobody is touching on is this. LEGENA is willing to expose her entire family's secrets for just a few dollars, right? Ain't that crazy? And I think that's where the family is really, really, really strained with this matter. Like they are just so upset that she is talking about stuff that really had nothing to do with her. And they made that very clear. This stuff had nothing to do with her. They're not denying that there was trauma within the family, but they're not saying that it was what she's saying, right? They're not saying that, but they are saying there was definite trauma within the family, particularly, I think, because of the nature of the parents at the time that the kids were born, that all these kids were born. So, you know, it's just crazy that she is exposing a lot of these things that they don't want to talk about, you know? And but these things have nothing to do with LEGENA. And she's just making this off of, you know, a cheap ass wig and a shirt from Goodwill, like, you know, with scallop arms. Like, come on now. This is crazy that she, you know, this is what she is accepting over exposing family secrets of people who don't even know these people. We don't know these people. And all of this just to act like she is somebody's daughter who we all know she's not their daughter. You know, like we just know. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care how they say it. They got to stop feeding into this girl's delusions. I do think a part of this is her delusions, but I think a part of this is also she want to make money off of this stuff. She want to go ahead and get her bread, right? And that is what the family is saying. I think it's both. I really do. And I think if her condition is treated properly, I think she would be in the right state of mind to make better decisions and not be, you know, going down this line and doing the things that she's doing. Because like I said, like the sister said, she most definitely is a business oriented and business minded girl, that she had always been on her grind, had always been on top of her world, had always done things the right way, you know, and gotten her things together. Her skin has always been very clear, and she's always been on top of herself and done everything she was supposed to until up to last year, which I said, like I said last night, schizophrenia does develop in young women between the mid 20s and late 20s. And with young men, it's a little earlier, but with young women, it's later in life. Okay. So, you know, she falls right into that age where if she did develop schizophrenia, which they're saying that she did, and the doctor has confirmed that, you know, hey, if she has, since she's developed that, you know, this happened around this age. And so it makes sense that this stuff just came on suddenly like that. Even though she was probably experiencing a lot of this stuff silently. She probably was not telling anybody for years, and she was probably able to control it for years. And then finally it just took, you know, it just reared its ugly head. But yeah, that's unfortunate. You said we all know secrets can ruin families, but these people have managed to get past things. Now her twisting the truth and telling a story that is not hers to tell is just wrong and painful, right? Very, very painful. This is why a lot of them really just don't want to reach out to her. Like they want to reach out, but they don't. And they're not on social media. They're not watching, you know, Sean Davy Way and Official King Payne you know, Hear Her TV and Della Cream Della and Black Lounge Divide. They're not watching this stuff. They're not watching any of us. Okay. They're not even aware that any of this stuff has happened. Well, they're aware now, but they weren't aware that any of this stuff was happening, right? They were just aware of her being viral on Facebook and TikTok and all this other stuff. And that's what they were aware of. The sister, like I said, she thought that LEGENA was in Philly. She didn't think she was all the way in Texas. She didn't think anything about that. So they're not fully aware of, you know, they weren't fully aware of, you know, all of these things and all of this stuff that's been going on. So they just turned their back on her and just said, you know, best of luck to her. Most of them thought she was still in Michigan. You know, they thought she was still in Detroit. They didn't think, you know, she had left town and she was on this fantastical blue couch, you know, with this crusty shirt and all this other stuff. They didn't think any of that stuff. They didn't know any of this stuff at all. And now that they're aware of it, they're, you know, they are trying to do more. But the sister is like, she's just done. Whenever they, you know, whenever whenever LEGENA returns, she said, and she's ready to get the help, she says she will help her. And you know what? I agree with her on that. I think that, you know, you can't beat your head against the wall as a family member of someone who just chooses not to get the assistance that they need, because they can choose up to a certain point. You know, there might be a point where she can be committed under a certain level, but even after that, you know, after a plan of action is put in place, you know, she may very well be let go to do things on her own, right? So we just don't know. But either way, everybody, you know, like I said, make sure that we are canceling Jaguar Rights, Cash App. We are canceling Philadelphia Network and all this stuff. And we are most definitely getting behind the family of LEGENA Gold to help her get her family, to help her get home, and help her get back to safety and help her get back to her doctors and to her proper medication. Because, guys, she is not on her proper medications and she is not seeing a therapist. I can guarantee that. All right, guys. Now, listen, I appreciate you guys coming in for the morning opinion. Make sure that you guys do hit the like button on the way out. Again, also subscribe and go ahead and hit that join button. We've got some things coming up for members only that I'll be doing that will be only on members only. And it'll be a lot of T-sector topics and a lot of things like that. So make sure that you guys do click that members only so that you get in here for this hot tea. Okay. And I will talk to you guys later. I truly appreciate you for being in the building. Shout out to all of you who are in the clouds. And again, make sure that you do hit the like button on the way out. And peace, guys. Thank you guys for watching.